All right, look, let me get something off my chest before we get started here. And I have to admit, before we get all into this, that typically, well, I haven't exactly been the biggest Chevy fan in the world, but that might be changing. Just the other day, the fine people at Chevy dropped all sorts of goodies to get excited about. And yeah, I'll say it, this is the most exciting Chevy to grace the interwebs in a long time. Yep, I'm talking about that brand new and pretty sweet 2024 Chevy Blazer. What's up, Motorheads, and welcome back to Gearbox Pizza. Today, we get to tap into some real American Detroit muscle, but not the kind you're used to. Like it or not, the future is electric, and the muscle car or muscle truck slash SUV thing, well, they're gonna be quiet, which I'll admit I'm a little bit sad about. All right, so the new Blazer, what exactly is this thing? Well, it's the latest step in the long evolution of the nameplate. Born way back in the summer of '69 as a full-size two-door chunk of American metal, this fella has certainly made an impression. In the early '80s, you could get yourself a little one that was based on the compact S10 pickup. Then, in the early '90s, boom, you get the four-door version. And then finally, in the early 2000s, we get an LS V8 powered SS model. So today, yep, things are a little bit different. For 2024, the Blazer is all electric with up to 320 miles of range and a top trim SS that'll make a Detroit proud 557 horsepower. And we'll get more into this guy in a little bit. So there's gonna be 4 trims available. You got the 1LT, the 2LT, the RS, and the SS. So let's break down these trims real quick. Oh, before we get into that, we're still missing plenty of info. We've got some general range numbers, but Chevy hasn't told us much about the batteries or the battery options, so just keep that in mind as we go, forward. All right, first up is the 1LT. That's front drive only. Yep, no option here to go all-wheel drive. Sorry, fellas. Anyway, this is gonna wear 19-inch wheels and will have a pretty solid entry-level range of 247 miles. I mean, not exactly sure about the power here, but I'd expect this to be, I don't know, like quick enough. I mean, it is the base trim. All right, so saving the best news for last here, and that's the starting price. Guys, this is gonna start a whisker under 45 grand, which these days, when you're looking at just how crazy expensive all sorts of new cars are, I mean, that's basically free. I mean, you round it down, it's free. All right, next up, we've got the 2LT. Now, this is gonna be similar in a lot of ways to the 1LT, and this will definitely be the one to like stretch that budget just a little bit, see if you can score this guy. So, like the 1LT, it's riding on 19s, and like the 1LT, it's front wheel drive, but all-wheel drive is an option here. Oh, okay, so more good news. In the range department, things are looking pretty sweet, 293 miles. Oh, and the best news, and something that doesn't exactly make a whole lot of sense to me is, well, the price. The 1LT starts at 45 grand, while this fella starts at 47.6. So if these numbers are right, I think we may have found the best 2,600 bucks you can spend in the car biz right here. I mean, I don't totally get it. You get an extra 50 miles of range for just 2,600 bucks. I mean, I'm guessing there's a little bit more to the story, but I really hope this is legit. All right, so let's move into some more exciting territory, the RS. And now we're talking like serious rubber, 21s in fact, which these days is about the right size for most good size SUVs. All right, so the powertrain. So I've seen this reported as being offered with either front wheel drive or rear wheel drive, which is a little bit odd. Obviously, there's gonna be an all-wheel drive option as well. This fella also happens to be the range king of the group with a very solid 320 miles of range. Very nice. Price-wise, we're starting at about 52 grand. And last up, the one you're gonna want, the one with the cojones, the SS. And if those 21s from the RS aren't doing it for you, you're looking at 22s with this fella. All-wheel drive is standard, and the range is pretty solid, although not quite as good as the RS or the 2LT, but pretty close at 290 miles. And power. Power is pretty nuts, 557 horse and 648 pound-feet of torque. Yep, sounds fast, right? Well, it is 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds if you're in the sportiest setting with Chevy calls. And I swear to God, I'm not making this up. You ready for this? Wide open watts. All right, I don't know. Seriously, who names this stuff? Seems like every American car maker is doing this corny crap, and I think it may have something to do with the whole ludicrous speed thing, but for some reason it actually sort of works, and it's kind of funny when Tesla does it here, but with these other companies it just kind of feels a little bit lame. But Again, whatever, like any sort of authority on cool. I mean, you should actually see what I'm wearing right now. I mean, not cool at all. Charging wise, there's some good news and some kind of meh news. The standard level 2 charger is a pretty solid 11.5 kilowatts, which is plenty, but the fast charging level 3 of charger appears to be capped at like 190 kilowatts, which honestly might kind of be a moot point. And like I said, there's plenty. If you're not in a Tesla, I wouldn't even consider taking any other EV on a road trip where you're at the whim of the public charging network. I mean, just Google it. They suck, they don't work, and even when they work, they only sort of work. That makes sense, but yeah, good luck fast charging this thing like ever. All right, on the inside, things are actually really nice here. For a Chevy, yeah, I admit, I've never really been a huge fan of Chevy interiors, but things are looking up here. And as you'd expect, there's some mega screen action. You've got an 11-inch gauge cluster alongside an 18-inch touchscreen infotainment thing. The RS and the SS come with this pretty cool flat bottom steering wheel, ambient lighting, and just all sorts of red, I don't know, stuff, just like everywhere. Red stuff everywhere. Oh, and I guess there's going to be a police car version of this thing, which is, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, honestly, I don't have much of an opinion on it, but I mean, it's a good thing. So yeah, there we go. All right, bottom line, there's kind of a lot to like here. The price for one thing is very attractive, as even the Mega Quick SS is probably a solid value with that kind of performance, but I suspect the modestly optioned long-range 2LT might just be the one to get. I mean, time's ultimately going to tell if this guy's a winner, but I just love having more competition at this price point. Keep it up, Chevy. Let's see what you can do, dude.